Since Eni's lobby, I feel like most of us have been waiting for the next big moment where all the Straw Hats get their one-on-one fights, with an opponent flexing their strength. I'm not sure about the rest of you watching, but personally, I'm part of the group of fans that want to see these one-on-one fights and see the Straw Hats taken to their limits so that us as readers or watchers are able to gauge what their true strength is, whilst also getting these great fight scenes as well. So with the raid in Onigashima in full effect, in the arc in which Oda has been so desperate to draw, I think now is the perfect time to take a look at the upcoming fight scenes. It feels like with arcs such as Zoro and Whole Cake, the Straw Hats have been broken up and we haven't got to see them all together taking on the bad guys like we loved so much pre-time skip. But now they've been reunited in Wano, I can't wait to see them all in their fights. At least I'm hoping they will have individual fights, but we'll discuss that later in the video. So basically, from where we're at right now, if indeed things continue as they are, this video will be taking a look at who from the Straw Hats will be fighting who in Wano, and this is certainly going to be a fun one, so stay tuned. Now before I get started, as usual, make sure you leave a like on the video as it helps so much with the YouTube algorithm, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can remain up to date whenever I, Mr Premps, drop more content just like this. Also, I've recently become an affiliate member of the Void Century Club, who are one of my favourite One Piece forums, and they're literally growing day by day. So if you like One Piece discussions and talking about One Piece with others too, I'll leave a link to the forum in the description below. And now the formalities are out the way, let's get into the video. So first of all, let's start with Luffy. I think this is only fair since his fight is so obvious. Luffy is going to be fighting Kaido, but I guess what you're really interested in is how this is going to go down. And I think we all know he's not doing this by himself. Currently in the story, Kaido is in the thick of battle at the top of Onigashima against the Scabbards, and they've been doing quite a good job, well so we thought. Kaido has been bombarded by an array of slashes and various other attacks from the Scabbards, and although on the face of things it did appear they were doing great, Kaido was tanking these shots, and spoiler alert for anyone who's not up to date with the manga, Kaido is now out of his zone form and about to take this fight serious. I think in terms of writing, Oda's actually done a fantastic job here, because yes, this is Luffy's fight, but he's going to be accompanied by at least 2 other members of the worst generation in Trafalgar D. Water Law and Captain Eustace Kidd. And I know we haven't seen much of Law and Kidd in the most recent chapters, but I can guarantee you that they'll be getting their fair share of damaging. But as I said, this is Luffy's fight. He didn't do all of that Rio training in Udon prison for no reason. And quickly, before I move on to the next Straw Hat matchup, the reason I brought up the Scabbards is because I feel like they're going to play a huge talking point in regards to the Kaido fight. Post this fight, people are going to be debating how much damage Kaido actually took before Luffy and co got to him. And I'll wait to see how that evolves, but as for the purposes of this video, Straw Hat Luffy is going to be fighting Kaido. Next on the list we would normally have Zoro, but I'll save him for a little bit later because I do believe there's actually another matchup that has been confirmed to us, and that's Nami and Usopp. In One Piece chapter 991, we had Usopp and Nami in a hilarious altercation with Ulti and Page 1, with Usopp hiding behind Nami and pretending as if it was Nami that actually attacked Page 1. And due to this, I'm pretty much certain that this matchup is set and it's going to be a 2-on-2 fight. Ulti and Page 1 appear to be a dynamic duo since their initial search of Yamato, and so I think it works well, and I'd really like to see what Usopp and Nami can do together. We know that Usopp has worked on Nami's climate act, and so he might even have functionalities in there that Nami herself doesn't know of, and I think it would be pretty cool. I do think it will be a test of their strength, as Ulti and Page 1 are both the zone types and very durable with a fighting style that relies on brute force, whereas Nami and Usopp are the scared types that prefer fighting from a distance, with Usopp sniping and Nami's weather control, so they're most likely going to have to come up with a clever way to take out Ulti and Page 1 and I'm fascinated to see how they do this. I do think Usopp will be very key in this battle, as he might go into his old ways of laying traps and trying to catch them out, but I also want to see him get closer to his actual goal of being a brave warrior, so would like to see him stand up for himself without the typical Oda scaredy cat type of moment, but I mean, it is his gag, so I'm not going to complain. The other thing that I would like to see from Usopp is his haki blooming. Oda's teased observation haki coming from Usopp for a while now, and honestly I'd like to see some expansion of it here. In regards to Nami, I think she's been having a fantastic showing in general. She's not a fighter, and we're well aware of that, but through Whole Cake Island we've seen how useful she can be in supporting Luffy with Cracker and being able to take Zeus from Big Mom, so Oda continuing this steady growth for her will be quite sufficient to me. So my prediction for this fight here is going to be a 2-on-2 fight of Nami and Usopp against Ulti and Page 1. The next matchup we'll be looking at is Zoro. And before I get into this, yes, it would be amazing, but no, Zoro does not kill Kaido.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
There, I've said it.
Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
I think Oda is making the matchups very difficult to predict, but even though I do not think that Zoro will be killing Kaido, I'm not stupid enough to ignore all of the foreshadowing that Zoro will most definitely be involved in that final fight against Kaido. All of the foreshadowing of opening up Kaido's scar, Zoro gaining Enma, Enma stealing your haki, and so on just tells me that Zoro will be opening up Kaido's scar. However, I think that that's a fight for much later on in the story. I believe Zoro is going to be involved in lots and lots of other minor fights. I mean, currently we're set to believe he's going after Apu to gain the antidote in which Queen created, which also goes to my thinking that Zoro might have a clash with Queen too, and I do think that's a fight I'd like to see. I know prior to Wano, so many of us believed that Sanji was to fight Queen, Zoro was to fight King, but Oda just hasn't made it that simple for us. In fact, outside of Zoro's clash with Queen, I believe that Zoro's true fight is going to be Orochi. And I know many people might dislike this, as they either think that Orochi is dead or he's not strong. But believe me, Orochi is alive and he's definitely plotting. Now take a minute and think about it. Orochi has the Hebi no Mi, which is an 8-headed serpent, and so far in the story we've seen Zoro use a variety of sword techniques from his usual 3-sword style right up to Ashura, which I believe is a 9-sword technique. So why wouldn't Oda introduce us to an 8-sword technique where Zoro is able to cut off all of Orochi's 8 heads at the same time? I think that would be beautiful personally. And for those of you who want to argue that maybe Orochi has already lost his head due to being hit by Kaido, then Zoro can just come up with a 7-sword technique. But either way, a new sword technique to take on Orochi would be amazing. This fight would definitely be so impactful in regards to Zoro's legend in Wano. We know Zoro wants payback on Orochi due to everything that happened with Yasui, but can you imagine the legend of Zoro post Wano? The man, or should I say samurai, known to have damaged Kaido, who wields Odin's sword, killed Orochi and rescued the land of Wano. And the reason I say this is because to most of the regular people in Wano, Orochi is the shogun, therefore taking him out is of most significance. But without me rambling on too much, to summarise my thoughts, yes, Zoro will be cutting Kaido, clashing with Apu, clashing with Queen, and fighting Orochi. Sanji's the next straw hat I want to take a look at, and it's honestly so hard to decide. Currently Sanji's with Luffy and Jinbei heading to Kaido, but I just know for some reason that they're going to be interrupted by someone again. So instead of me solely focusing on Sanji, I'd like to involve Jinbei too, as I believe that Sanji and Jinbei will get Luffy so close to the top of the tower until they're intercepted by King, who will be attempting to stop them. It is my belief that Sanji and Jinbei will then be the ones to take on King 2 versus 1, allowing Luffy to progress ahead and get to Kaido. I think this matchup works very well, as it may be difficult for any of us to believe that Sanji or Jinbei could take on King in isolation. However, together they should be more than capable, and I think it will work perfectly. I do want to highlight that these are just my thoughts as of today, and this can definitely change as there's still some part of me that believes that Marco could be facing King. Next on the list, I want to take a quick look at Frankie, who is taking on the numbers right now. Frankie has proved himself to be really useful and so far has had his big moment with Big Mum. Going forward, I believe he'll continue taking on the numbers, and I think this would definitely be a good feat if he can take most of them out. I do think Oda may have more plans for Frankie, but in terms of right now, I think the numbers are his fight. Now moving on to Robin, Chopper and Brook. This is more of a difficult one for me to discuss as they're part of the group that I couldn't identify direct matchups for. So until we get more information, I'll be doing another video for this down the line. They're all currently situated on the live floor trying to get Queen's antidote from Apu. And as this has come into play, I think Chopper's task will be coming from a doctor's perspective and healing everyone who's been infected by the playgrounds. In regards to Robin, many people expected a fight with Black Maria, but I'm not sure about that. How do we get from our current scenario to Black Maria turning up in the middle of battle? And I think the same goes for Brook too. I think we expected him to have a fight with one of the Flying Six, but I believe they all have their own agendas, so I don't see where his battle comes into play here. And most likely he'll probably be a support act until later on in the battle where he's needed elsewhere. And with that being said, I think that brings my Straw Hat matchups to the end. And I know I usually get messages on talking about potential Straw Hats like Carrot and Yamato, but I'm not quite sure they qualify as official Straw Hats just yet. But if you would like to see who I think they'll be matched up against, let me know down in the comments or message me on Twitter, and if there's enough interest, I'll make a video with my thoughts. And I honestly do have an idea as to who they're going to be fighting against, and trust me, it's going to be exciting. But I'd honestly like to know what you guys and girls think. What do you think of my matchups, and do you agree? If not, let me know down in the comments. And as always, if you like anything I've had to say, please make sure you leave a like on the video, and if you would like to see more content just like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss out when I drop more gems just like this. Safe.